everyone. Welcome back to your daily dose of news and all the information that you need to know about the human body care here in HBC News. I'm your host Raquel, and today, as every day, we are going to be learning new things that will help us understand our human body in a better way. To start, Fred will guide us through some of the basic concepts that we need to know to understand the topics that we will be talking about today.
Hi everybody, Raquel, thank you for that lovely introduction. So welcome to the section of anatomy of the body. So let's start with the basic concepts. First of all, we can see that this body is facing in an anatomical position. We can see that because it's head facing forward, eyes facing forward, palms facing forward, feet facing forward. So in the superior part, as we can see, we have the head. We have the skull. Inside the skull, we have the brain, we have the eyes, we have the nose, we have the mouth, we have the cheeks, we have the chin, we have the forehead, etc. Then on the inferior part of the head, we have the neck. That it's the one that connects the head to the trunk. This one is the trunk. This one, as we can see, the pointer is the trunk. So the trunk consists on the chest, the abdomen, and the pelvis. You can see here my chest, my abdomen, and the pelvis. Then, not all to the trunk, we have the upper limb and the forearm. In the upper limb is attached to the trunk, and it consists on the armpit, the shoulders, and the elbow. Then we have the forearm. Here we have the wrist and the hand. Then, inferior to the trunk, we have the lower limb. It's composed by the buttock, that it's the butt as we know it. Then we have the thigh and the knee. Then we have the leg, that is consisted by the ankle and the foot. Then, here we have another body positions. We have the prone and the supine. We can identify this one because up, it's facing upwards, and prone for on, that it's on stomach. Then we have the body planes. The body planes are flat cuts that allow us to see the inside of the body or organs. Here we have the transverse, that it's cut in half, frontal, that it's like this, then the sagittal, that it's on the midline. Now that we know the basic concepts of the anatomy body, let's continue with tissues. We have 4 types of tissues. We have the connective tissue, the epithelial tissue, the muscle tissue, the nerve, and the nervous tissue. So first of all, we have the epithelial tissue or the epithelium. These ones are the ones that are tightly together, the cells, to form layers, one after another. So the main function of the epithelial tissues is to protect, to filtrate, to secrete, to absorb, and excrete. And here telling that we have many layers. The apical layer refers to the upper layers, and the basal layer to the lower layers. To make this a little bit complicated and to introduce you more to the topic, I'm going to explain some of the tissues that we have inside the human body, of course. So let's start with the simple squamous epithelium. As here we can see, we can find it on the lungs. This one is the tissue that form the lungs. As we can see here, the parts of it, the apical surface epithelium, as we said before, the apical is the one on the more superficial layer, as we can tell, and the basal is the one deep inside the layers. Then we can see the simple cuboidal epithelium is literally the one that doesn't have the form of a cube in here. And we can find it on the kidney. Then we have the simple columnar epithelium that we can find this on the intestine. Next, we have the stratified squamous epithelium, we can find it on the esophagus. Okay, then in the respiratory tract, near the esophagus, we can find the pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. This is just a quick introduction, okay? So then we have the epithelial glands. We have here the exocrine gland and the endocrine gland. The exocrine gland is the one that secretes sweat, mucus, oils, saliva, earwax, etc. And here we have a little diagram. This one are the chemical secretion, this is the skin surface, and this is the chemicals produced by the gland. Next, we have the endocrine gland, that this one is in charge to secrete hormones. How? As we can see here, the hormones are secreted into blood. Next, let's continue with the connective tissue. So first of all, here we have some structure. As you can see, here's the nucleus, here's the cell. These are some fibers. As we can see, we also have the elastin fiber. This one, the fibroblast, the dots over there, and the collagen fiber. These are fibers. As we can see here, it's like a drawing, this one. And as we can see, these are the extracellular matrix. And also we can see the brown substances. Well, first of all, let me tell you that the connective tissue is the most abundant on the body. This connective tissue, it's awesome because it has a lot of functions, it binds and connects the thing that forms literally everything. Is the most abundant on the body. So knowing this, we have different connective tissues. We have the dense connective tissue, the adipose tissue, and the aural tissue, the compact bone, and blood. All of these are connective tissues. Just to give you a more deep explanation. So let's start with A. Here we have the connective tissue under the skin. This is called loose connective tissue. Here we can see the cell, the collagen fiber, and some other fibers. Then we have the adipose tissue. As we can see, is the fat that we store under the skin. As we can see here is the fat droplets and the cell nucleus that surround the fat droplets. Then we have blood. In the blood, we have the white blood cells and the red blood cells and some plasma. All of these are connective tissue. It's another type of connective tissue. Then we continue with the fibrous connective tissue that forms the ligament. We have the cell nucleus, the collagen fibers, as we can see over here. Then the cartilage, it's, as we can see, is the one at the end of the bone. And as I said before, it's an end of the bone. Then we have the bone. We have the central canal, the matrix, and the cells. So, next, let's continue with the muscle tissue. As we can see, we already know what a muscle is. So, we have three different types, the smooth muscle tissue, the cardiac muscle tissue, and the skeletal muscle tissue. Some of these are involuntary and some others are voluntary. In this, I want to express that involuntary, we don't control it. It's just something that happens by nature because the body works that way. A voluntary control because we can access to it and we can increase the volume and work on it, because it's like the one, as the others is gonna be the ones that serves to us every single day and night. So as I said before, it helps day and night because it's the one that sustains our body. Besides the bones, it supports the body, and it gives strength to it. So that way we can produce movements. Then we have the nervous tissue. So for the nervous tissue, we have two types, the dendrites and the neuron. As we can tell, the neurons coexist on the brain. So here we have the parts of the cell. As we can see, here is the nucleus. Those are the dendrites. This one is the axon. These are nerve endings. And all of this is the cell body. So thank you, Raquel. This was the short introduction to some of the body anatomy and body tissues. It was really short, so I hope you understand to keep going with the next part. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fred. And now we have a very special guest who has done a great job in maintaining the body's environment stable and has allowed every single part of it to work properly. Karen, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Of course, it is a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Karen, for the people who don't know you, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and the work you do?
Sure, I am in charge of an area of the endocrine and central nervous system. Our main function is to keep homeostatic control. For those who don't know, homeostasis is the state of balance in the body's internal environment. It is achieved with all the body's work, so it's not something I do by myself.
You are very known for your participation in the feedback systems. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, feedback systems are what I focus the most in. They are cycles in which the body's conditions are evaluated so that if there has to be a change, we can decide whether to let it happen or not.
And how does this happen? How do you decide how to proceed in each case?
So let me explain how the feedback system works. We start out with the initiation event or stimulus. This goes to the variable, and then this will go to the receptor, which senses a change in variable. Then the control center compares against reference value set point, and then the effectors make adjustment to the variable.
So if I got it correctly, in the positive feedback, the change is reinforced, and in the negative, it is negated, right? Could you give us some examples to understand it better, please?
So the feedback system has positive feedback and negative feedback, and I will explain first the positive feedback. So the positive feedback system involves a physiological system that reinforces the change. The variation is sensed by the receptor, and then the effector works to produce an identical outcome. This enhances the physiological output. So next, I will be explaining the negative feedback system. So the negative feedback system is a feedback that tends to dampen a process by applying the output against the initial condition. Yes, you are absolutely right. And one of the most common examples we have for the negative feedback system is your body temperature. So when your body temperature is too high, a negative feedback loop will act to bring it back down towards the set point or the target. To explain it better, I have this image. So once your body temperature increases, the cooling process will be activated, and this can cause sweating. Then your body will work hard to decrease your body temperature. So once your body temperature has decreased, the heating process will be activated, and this can cause shivering. So your body will just do the same. It will start to increase, and then it will go all over again to decrease. And an example of positive feedback system is the amplification of labor contractions. The contractions are initiated as the baby moves into position, and this will start stretching the cervix beyond its normal position. The feedback increases the strength and frequency of the contractions until the baby is born.
Once again, thank you very much. All the information that you have given.
We interrupt this program. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow.
There's been a fracture on the left radius of the arm. Within the next few hours, a clot will start forming around it. All the functional personnel move to this side of the body. Immune system cells, please get rid of the germs that might have entered. Chronoplasts, do your thing and create a soft collagen around the break so then it can be replaced by new bones. Thank you. Please proceed with precaution.
Good morning to everyone in the studio. Some minutes ago, there was a bone fracture reported. It seems like the body has fallen and gotten hurt, which is why you might have heard a big crash and felt a slight earthquake. But we hear that it is now under control and it will soon receive medical attention. Luckily, the body seems to be healthy and it doesn't present any deficiencies.
Well, it is a relief to know that everything is now under control. Nat, thank you for reporting from over there. Do you know what would have happened if the body weren't in the right conditions?
Of course, something that could have made the issue escalate very quickly and have terrible consequences would have been osteoporosis, from which we know that it is a condition in which bone creation cannot keep up with old bone removal, making bones very weak and fragile. It usually appears with old age, but there are some other risk factors that we cannot control, such as gender since it is presented more commonly in women, race because white and Asian people have been the most affected, and family history with the disease. But there are also some of them that are in our control. For example, having stable hormone levels, a balanced diet with enough intake of calcium, avoiding alcohol and tobacco consumption, and having an active lifestyle.
It is time for some commercial announcements. When we come back, we will learn about skin cancer. Stay tuned.
They say 20 seconds in the California sunshine is too much these days, ever since we lost the ozone layer. But that was before Sunblock 5000. Just apply a pint to your body and you're good for hours. See you by the pool.
Sunblock 5000. Protection for the new age.
And we are back. Here in the studio, we have Nat, who will tell us about skin cancer.
Yes, of course. Skin cancer is the out-of-control growth of abnormal cells in the epidermis, the outermost skin layer caused by unrepaired DNA damage that triggers mutations. These mutations lead the skin cells to multiply rapidly and form malignant tumors. There are quite a bit of risk factors like sun exposure, weakened or suppressed immune systems, indoor tanning, fair skin, race or ethnicity, precancerous skin conditions, and gender.
Thank you, Nat. To finish with our program, let's remember that there are many things that we can do to keep our body healthy. All of us, from cells to whole organ systems, make a great effort to maintain the body functioning properly. Meanwhile, the humans take the right measures to avoid risks and prevent unwanted issues. For example, by staying in the shade, wearing protection clothes, using sunglasses, and very importantly, applying sunscreen, skin cancer can be prevented. On the other hand, exercising the bones through anaerobic exercise is a great way to avoid osteoporosis caused by controllable risks. Let's also have very present the importance of following a healthy, balanced diet, drinking water, sleeping properly, having an active lifestyle, and avoiding tobacco and alcohol consumption. Thank you for joining us in today's emission. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time here in HBC News. Please remember to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. Bye!